All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the regular board meeting of the San Benito CIC Board of Trustees. It is Monday, August 19th, 2019, and I call this meeting to order at exactly 6:07. Mr. Lopez.
Present.
Mrs. Silva.
Present.
Ms. Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Mendez.
Present.
Mr. Rosas.
Present.
Mrs. Weaver.
Present.
Dr. Carmen.
Present.
And Mr. Flores.
Present.
Awesome. I want to welcome everybody to a brand new school year. I'm sure principals and administrators are hard at work, so welcome to a brand new school year for San Benito CIC, where we uphold the gold standard. We first start off with the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flags and the invocation. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Silva.
Me, Miss Garcia. I'm doing it.
Oh, Ms. Garcia.
Yes,
Ms. Garcia,
that's because she's not feeling well.
and you're a
Okay.
veteran of this, Ms. Garcia.
Yes, thank you. Okay, doing the Pledge of Allegiance is Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a 17-year-old who is an incoming senior at San Benito High School. He was raised in San Benito by his mother, Maria Padilla. Michael is passionate about mathematics, science, and history, but his favorite subject is chemistry. His hobbies include playing chess, watching sports, lifting weights, and listening to music. His most notable accomplishment include National AP Scholar candidate for Hispanic National Merit Scholar, Life Scout, which is the rank before Eagle Scout, Hispanic Scholarship, Fund Scholar, qualifying in state HOSA competition in medical, math, national, state, and regional awards in chess as a team and individually, and currently valedictorian of his class. Outside of the classroom, he is currently involved in Boy Scouts of America, chess where he's captain of the chess team, the EMT program, HOSA, Rho Kappa NHS where he's president, Science NHS where he is the vice president, and Mu Alpha Theta NHS where he's vice president. He inspires to become a doctor specializing in dermatology or orthopedic surgery. He plans to attend Johns Hopkins University or University of Texas at Austin to accomplish his goals. Go ahead. All right, the invocation is Gabriela Annie Garcia. My name is Gabriela Annie Garcia. She was born in February the 14th, 2002. She is currently 17 and an incoming senior at San Benito High School. She's the daughter of Raul and Veronica Garcia. Growing up, I always had and will probably continue to have a strong passion for math, mostly because it's universal. Some of my hobbies include sports and physical fitness and community service, helping others. Accomplishments for me would be inclusive of being hand-selected for NHI, Lorenzo Camp, Basic Leadership Training Camp, both of which are outstanding leadership camps to continue further earning multiple ribbons and medals while in NJROTC. As those medals are national awards, as I am finishing my junior year with the title of salutatorian. Okay.
Will everybody please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Let us bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of community. Fill us with your grace, Lord, as we make decisions that might affect the students, staff, faculty, and alumni. Continue to remind us that all we do here today all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of you, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
These two students are students at San Benito High School. The principal is Maria Isabel Solis, right there. And if the parents are in the audience, will they please stand? Parents? Maria Padilla? Okay. Thank you.
Can we have students come forward, please?
Michael Thomas, Amy, Gabby,
Starting on this end.
you have to shake my hand. Dr. Carmen, they were both my students.
Well done. Very well done. Thank you. Oh.
Okay. We now move on to a reorganization of board officers. I will first entertain motions for president of the board.
I nominate Michael Vargas, Board President.
I have a motion.
I'm not ready for that yet.
It's not a discussion item as indicated by the agenda item.
I need to speak first, please, Michael, please. Let me
It's
speak first.
I'm going to refer to legal counsel. Legal, is it a discussion item?
At this point, since it's started, we have to go through the process, do the nominations, and go forward.
Yeah, so we're only
For
doing
this item.
nominations at this moment. So we have a nomination for president. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lopez. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Mr. Vargas is now board president. I now
Michael,
have taking nominations for vice president.
I nominate Orlando Lopez.
I have a nomination for Mr. Rosas for vice president. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second for Ms. Weaver. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Mr. Lopez is now vice president. We now move on to position of secretary. I will now take motions for secretary.
Yes, sir. I nominate Janie Silva for secretary.
We have a motion to nominate Ms. Silva as secretary. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Weaver. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimous. Motion carries. Moving on to the next agenda item, we have a superintendent's report. I will now turn it over to Dr. Carmen.
Thank you, Mr. Vargas. And actually relates to cash account activity, activity accounts, revenue and expenditures, tax collection, and check disbursements. I will ask Mrs. Hilda Rendon if she would address those, please.
Good evening, Mr. Board President, members of the board, community. Tonight is presenting the financials for the month ending of July 31st, 2019. I'm going to start off with the cash accounts. Our cash accounts between total cash and investment, our balance is $69,647,640.38. Going into our student activity accounts. Student activity accounts ending for the month of July 2019 is $431,476.25. And in your package, you have the owners of those funds. Our next item is our comparison of the revenue to budget. This is our month one, our beginning of the year month, so year-to-date realized. is $283,890.60. This is under the general operating funds. Our first payment for the year, it does not come in until September. Under our federal programs, we are still closing out our previous federal accounts that do not close out until the majority of them will be closing out in September. It's $9,602,653.80. Interest and sinking fund, $28,444.26. Grand total for all the revenue for the month of July is $9,914,988.66. The second part of this is the comparison of the expenditures to the approved budget. Starting off with the general operating fund, we spent $11,174,161.45. Under our federal programs, we spent $8,037,870.48. Have spent nothing under our interest and sinking fund. And under our capital projects fund, we spent $818,531.25. Grand total expenses is $20,030,563.18. Our next item is our tax collections report. The month of July. And this one, we have the month of July, but we're still collecting under the old year until September. So we have collected from October through June 2019, $12,535,538.57. Adding to this month, tax levy is $14,041,549.45. We've collected 96.71% of our tax. And the last item is a checks disbursements for the month of July. That has total of all checks written was $9,166,951.55. And I open it if there's any questions or any particular checks.
Mr. No, the only question I have is, this was the first time we have shifted the fiscal year start date. And so my question to you is, was there anything in the office, were there any disruptions, or were things just as we had talked about and perceived going pretty smoothly with respect to the shift in the fiscal start date for our district?
The good thing about it is that we're currently going under audit. The budget was approved and was interfaced early on. So the principals have had use of the approved budget going into the year since July 1st, which made it easier for them to start ordering supplies and so forth. Had it been the old traditional way they would have, right now it would be before you saying the budget's not in yet. Mm-hmm. So we would have had to put the principal saying you don't have funds until September 1. So that ease on it. I think it's the first year there is a lot of entries because we're making the transition of closing out. But going forward, I think a lot more districts have jumped on board with the same here in the Valley, mm-hmm. have changed. I know there's 2 or 3 other districts that have followed. Our mm-hmm. neighbors to the north have made it too. So as Dr. Carmen alluded last year, it was going to be a tough one because it was a jam. But afterwards, mm-hmm. I feel that it is, for my staff, it's a lot easier to work with. And the principals too, they have funds available to start the year.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rendon, I just want to go ahead and extend a huge appreciation for your staff for taking on this additional work. We all knew that there was going to be a huge undertaking, and they took it. So I want to greatly appreciate for the smooth transition, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Sir. I'll convey that to my staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rendon. We now move on to the consent agenda. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may act upon more than one item by a single vote through the use of consent agenda. Consent items placed on the agenda shall be marked with an asterisk. Consent items are items for which no board discussion is anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. Prior to the time which approval of consent agenda is had, at the request of any member of the Board of Trustees, any item on the consent agenda shall be removed and given individual consideration. Under Business and Finance, request approval of budget amendments for the 2019-2020 school year. Question. Consent. Number 2, request approval to accept gift and bequest for 2019-2020 school year. Question. Consent. Request approval to purchase recycled rubber mulch for 5 elementary schools from Exer Play. Question. Consent. Request approval to award RFP-0719-AIPM, award incentives and printed materials. Question? Consent. Number 5, request approval to award RFP-0719-CP copier paper. Question? Consent. Number 6, request approval of lease agreement for district-wide copiers. Question? Consent. Number 7, request approval to purchase board doc software. Question? Consent. Number 8, request approval to accept and gift bequest for San Benito CIC employees as awards. Question? Consent. Number 9, request approval to accept gift bequest for San Benito CIC 2019 Secretaries Workshop. Question? Consent. Number 10, request approval of gigabit communications agreement. Question? Consent. Number 11, request approval of legal services renewal agreement between San Benito CIC and Eichelbaum, Wardle, Hanson, Powell, and Munoz PC. Question?
Question.
Question by Mr. Mendez. Number 12, request approval of education purchasing interlocal cooperative membership, EPIC 6-6, Region 6. Question? Consent. Under administration, request approval of the purchase of Saxon phonics and spelling for all elementary campuses for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 14, request approval of the elementary UIL proposal for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 15, request approval of the student code of conduct for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 16, request approval of the elementary grading policy for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 17, request approval of the secondary grading policy for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 18, request approval to accept the new CTE courses, Graphic Design and Illustration I/Lab and Graphic Design and Illustration 2 Lab. Question? Consent. Number 19, request approval of the purchase of Nearpod and Flacubulary digital programs for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 20, request approval of South Padre Island EMS/FD affiliation agreement for 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 21, request approval of the purchase of Positive Learning Program for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Get a drink of water. Number 22, request approval of the purchase of Chromebooks and Dell laptops for migrant students for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 23, request approval to accept donations of seeds for the agricultural science classes at San Benito High School. Question? Consent. Number 24, request approval to purchase Kajit Smart Spot devices for secondary migrant students. Question? Consent. Number 25, request approval to rescind agreement with Dreambox Learning digital program for the 2019-2020 school year. Question?
Question.
Question by Mr. Mendez. Number 26, request approval of donations for first-year teachers of the district. Question? Consent. Number 27, request approval of purchase of additional AEDs. Question? Consent. Number 28, request approval of concussion oversight team membership. Question? Consent. Number 29, request approval of TASB Board of Directors nomination. Question? Consent. Number 30, request approval of revision of the 2019-2020 compensation plan. Question?
Question.
Question by Mr. Mendez. Number 31, request approval to update the T-test appraisal list for the 2019-2020 school year. Question? Consent. Number 32, request approval of the subscription agreement with Lexipol. Question? Consent. Number 33, request approval of the software and services agreement with ARMS. Question? Consent. Number 34, request approval to accept a gift or bequest to San Benito CIC for back-to-school fair. Question? Consent. Number 35, request approval of board minutes. Question? Consent. Can I please have a motion to approve under Business and Finance 1 through 10 and item 12, and under Administration 13 through 24, 26 through 29, and 31 through 35?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Lopez. Do I have a second? Second by Mr. Mendez. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed. Motion carries. Our first question item under Business and Finance is for Mr. Mendez. The request approval of legal services renewal agreement between San Benito CIC and Eichelbaum, Wardle, Hanson, Powell, and Munoz PC. Mr. Mendez.
Yes, just what kind of services are these, I'm assuming attorneys or legal services, are they?
So this is through the Regional 1 Service Center. This is their legal co-op, And this law firm has the agreement with Region 1. There is a list of services inside of that, so should we ever need a second opinion, or if we are unable to reach our attorneys, we can access this law firm based on these agreed-upon rates from Region 1.
What's the actual rate that we're paying Region 1 on it?
So there's no fee to join the co-op if we choose to use their legal services. In your attachment, there is a list of fees. The top one starts at $295 if we use a senior shareholder attorney, $255 per hour for shareholder, $235 for senior associate, $225 for associate, $185 an hour for attorneys pending licensure, and $110 for law clerks and/or paralegals. There are also expenses if copying or printing is required, 15 cents per page for black and white copies, 50 cents per page for color copies, actual cost for any delivery charges, long-distance cellular, postage, electronic research, and travel. For mileage, they've adopted the IRS standard rate. For court reporters and other outside vendor fees, actual cost, invoices for such services will be sent to the district for direct payment by the district to the vendor involved.
Okay, all right.
I got a question, Dr. Carmen. What's their specialty, Doc? What do they cover under their umbrella?
So this would be for any general school law question. For special education, for example, we do not use this particular service. To be honest with you, I'm not sure we had to refer anything to this group last year. It's simply available to us. But yeah, just school law would be their area of expertise.
Okay, so I understand correctly, there's no retainer, right?
That's correct.
Perfect. Thank you, Doc. Appreciate it.
All right. So I move the approval of the, oops, I turned it off. So I move for the approval of the legal services renewal agreement between San Mateo CISD and ICPOM, Wardell, Hansen, Powell, and Munoz PC.
I have a motion by Mr. Mendez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lopez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. The second question item under administration is number 25, request approval to rescind agreement with Dreambox Learning Digital Program for the 2019-2020 school year. Mr. Mendez.
Just the clarification on the purpose why we're rescinding?
Certainly. So Dreambox was reviewed and recommended to purchase as a math program for our students. And we move forward with the recommendation from our curriculum department. However, we asked the board to approve it with the assumption that Dreambox was a member of the appropriate co-op. They were not a member of Buy Board, nor were they a member of a co-op that we were a member of. So back on item number 12, where the board just approved entering into being a member of that co-op with Region 6. There's no charge for that co-op. Dreambox was a member of several co-ops, just didn't happen to be any that we were part of. So we're asking the board, first of all, to approve the Region 6 co-op, which you all have. Second, to rescind the agreement, and then we'll bring it back through the curriculum committee at the September meeting for approval. We still want to move forward with the program, just not put the cart before the horse.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yes, sir.
So I move for the request of approval to rescind the agreement with Dreambox Learning Digital Program for 2019-2020 school year.
I have a motion by Mr. Mendez. Do I have a second? Second by Mrs. Weaver. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. The next questioned item is under administration number 30, request approval of revision to the 2019-2020 compensation plan. Mr. Mendez.
Thank you. On this one, actually, prior to the meeting, I was just having a conversation with Mr. Madrigal, and this is in reference to the approach that we're taking for our hourly employees that are working under a certain umbrella, for example, secretarial. And if they're hired by the after-school program or any other entity such as the security at the ball games or whatnot, that the rate would not be time and a half, but would be a renewal rate of a different amount. Is that correct? And if it is, have we discussed it with legal and with workman's comp to make sure that we're not violating any rules or laws?
Right, so yes, you are correct that the compensation plan would not pay time and a half. For example, if we have someone who serves as a secretary during their regular day, their 40-hour week, and then in the afternoon works with after-school program or works an extracurricular game, that is a separate duty from their regular job. And we calculate that rate, and then there's the blended rate between the two. It's part of the Fair Labor Act. Mrs. Rendon maybe want to expand on it. Our attorney probably can expand a lot more on it, but it is in accordance with the Fair Labor Act.
That is directly correct, Carmen, because it's not their normal duty, it's a separate type of duty. It is no violation. No.
We're not going to have workman's comp back on our doors saying that we have to pay back some monies because of the overtime clause?
That is-
And the reason I ask is I entertained a similar question a year ago, and the statement that was given to me was if they're not going to a different district and they're under the same district, that we're still liable for the overtime. But if legal is saying that it's clear, okay, but I think that we need to really, really vet this one before we move forward on something like this.
Well,
I mean,
And we do believe that it is clear again, because it's a separate duty, a different duty from their normal 40-hour duty that they work. But if you all would like, we can prepare a statement on that and develop the research and provide it to you, if that's what you guys would like.
I feel more comfortable with that appropriate language and a statement. That way, if it comes back, at least we can refer to something. So do we need to table this, or do we need to approve it pending that item?
So I think you'd have a couple of options. You could table the entire item. You could approve it with the lines that include like our National Honor Society stipends. So you could include it with all those things like the French horn, double reed, all those stipends we're adding in other than the hourly rate. Or you could approve it pending appropriate legal.
So I think because we're making significant changes, not significant, but multiple changes to the compensation plan, we should probably approve it pending what you're asking for on this one specific, because we don't want to hold up the stipends for the rest of the staff.
That would be appropriate to approve it pending confirmation by council.
Okay, so I make the motion to approve the revision of the 2019-2020 compensation plan pending the consultation from the attorney, correct?
Yep. I have a motion for Mr. Mendez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Lopez. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. We now move on to closed meeting, discussion under the authority of the Texas Government Code 551.071 for the purpose of private consultation with the board's attorney on any subjects or matters authorized by law. 551.041 for the purpose of the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. Number one, employment, resignations, and retirements. And number two, discussion and consideration on appointment of person to conduct DIA investigations. We convene into executive session at exactly 6:35 p.m.
Do we have a charger in the executive?
Okay, we convene back into open session at exactly 7:23 p.m. Our next agenda item is public comment. A person or persons wishing to address the Board of Trustees shall register with the presiding officer or designee no later than 5 minutes before the announced time of the school board meeting. State their full name, state what organization or group, if any, is being representing, state the topic they wish to address before the Board of Trustees, refrain from commenting directly on any individual school board or individual school district employee or public official by name, but may instead refer to a specific employment area, job title, or the Board of Trustees as a whole, and please refrain from attacks on individuals. I'm going to read that one more time like I have before. Please refrain from commenting directly on any individual school district employee or public official by name, but may instead refer to a specific employment area, job title, or the Board of Trustees as a whole, and refrain from attacks on individuals. San Bernardino CIC Board Policy BED guidelines require that the speaker be allowed only 3 minutes to give his or her presentation, and we'll have legal counsel take the 3-minute time, Mr. Flores. Delegations of more than 5 persons shall appoint 1 person to present their views before the Board of Trustees. Presentation shall be informative and shall pertain to school-related issues. Attack on an individual shall be considered a disruption of the meeting, and the Board of Trustees shall not deliberate or decide regarding any subject that is not included on the agenda posted with notice of the meeting. Our first public comment is Ms. Rosie Garcia. Rosalinda G. Garcia. Welcome, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you. Good evening. Channel 4 just interviewed me outside, and they asked me how long I had been coming to meetings. And I said 10 years, but it's been 16 years. And if I recall, when there was a year, I think that I'm pretty sure a board member was recognized as board member, as a board of the year, if I recall. I hope we get that distinction, like our neighbor. I hope we do get distinction one day. And with that, yes, I've been coming 16 years. And with that, you know, I was labeled, I'm here as the apparent few that speak up. And I hope you all really appreciate that we do speak up and that we do ask questions. We want transparency. And I appreciate that Dr. Carmen, like I've said it before, he answers my questions. If I have a phone call, but most of the time it's through email. And I hope, you know, that board, you as a board, do the same. And like I said, that I'm glad that y'all should take us as something positive, our comments and speaking up. Another thing that I wanted to say was about the bond, how it's coming along. I'm hearing a lot. I want the facilities. I want with the 40 million that all the facilities come to fruit. Right now I'm hearing that this outdoor facility is going to be the #1 state of the art. I hope at the end I don't hear that we run out of funds and we're not going to have the performing arts auditorium as being, because y'all went way up in its projection with the enrollment being much greater than what we have, and that's what you intend to build, something big. So don't forget about the performing arts auditorium. And I'm hearing that this outdoor facility is going to be something really state of the art. And what I just heard about the board just recently, when a school board member wanted to do a comment before public comment, before the vote of reorganization, they could have rescinded the motion and let her speak. You could have. Y'all could have spoken up, because it's been done before. And also, public comment, again, has been placed at the end. Once again, every time something happens and we're up here, we're pushed to the very end.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. We now move on to Ms. Janie Lopez. Welcome, Ms. Lopez.
Thank you. Thank you. This is my first time coming up here as a public comment. I am a former educator. I'm a school counselor, and I advocate a lot for kids, and I advocate for the kids to learn good morals and good character. And being an educator and caring for the kids, I do, want to address the board in the fact that I expect the same from the board as well. And some of you are doing a great job, and others, I believe, that things need to come, to a plan of action or something, and you all need to address what's happening. My fear is something happening to one of the children here, and our district is going to be liable, under Texas tort law. We are responsible for our kids' safety, and based on what's been on the news, I don't need to tell you all know what has been on the news lately about our district. And one of our board members, I ask that you all take that into consideration and take student safety, as a priority in our district. And as board members, you all are held to TASB ethics, you know, and where the ethics say for you ought to be impartial, you know, to be fair in your decision-making. And all I ask is for you ought to keep the kids in mind anytime you're working with policies and in handling our district matters. People, you know, are afraid to speak up because, you know, they're employees here and they're afraid to speak up to you all. And so I'm here to represent some of those people that notified me, you know, that they do have a concern, and I'm here to speak up for some of the parents also that have notified me as well. So I just ask that you all, as a board, you know, take this into consideration, because if we teach our kids to follow rules in school, if we teach our kids to have good character, to have good morals, to have good values, you know, and we're displaying differently, then what kind of message does that send our kids? And the kids are our future. So we need to be a good example and, you know, good role models for our kids. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. We now move on to Ms. Annie Lou Garcia. Welcome, Ms. Garcia.
Hello, thank you. Our schools are decorated with a lot of posters, with trophies, with ribbons that our children, our students, sacrifice time. You know, their parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles, they do a lot of work for our kids to be involved after school, you know, so they can get a scholarship, so they can be involved. And all I ask, you know, about our kids' basic needs. We just heard about how much money's going in and out all the time. Last year I had asked about the cafeteria at the high school. It seats 450 students. We have almost 2,800, depending, I don't know about this year, we have a lot of kids, only 2 lunches. We have kids still sitting on the floors. You know, the principal opened the gym, you know, but they didn't open the bleachers. Kids are sitting on the floor. I mean, our kids do so much that I think they should be able to go and be able to sit in a cafeteria and sit on a table. They shouldn't be able to run out of food. There's been many kids running out of food. They should be able to be playing outside during playground or practice with a canopy over them. You guys have heard about all the heat advisories in San Benito. Kids, especially band, by the tennis courts, they're there till 11 o'clock at night. We all hear them, all the people that live in San Benito, they're practicing. You know, you guys don't supply water for our children. Us parents and grandparents have to come and bring Gatorade and water, sunscreen. Kids have fainted. I just ask for the basic needs of our children to be met, because I love that you guys are providing, you know, new technology and everything, but what about the schools, the updates? You know, I'm glad that you guys are doing the pool and the Performing Arts Center, but what about the basic needs? The water they're drinking, the faucets. I don't know about you, but I get letters about the conditions of the water. It's not healthy water. We always have to buy bottled water. Why are our children drinking the water that's not appropriate for our children? Why our kids, there's many buses that are breaking down, don't have AC. I have parents that tell me, like, kids are coming home, they're sweating because their ACs are broken. What about their basic needs? That's what I'm here today about, the safety, security. After school, I have been in after school. A friend of mine needed me to pick up a child. She called the school and told him my name. When I went and picked up the child, nobody asked me for my ID. We should always have that our priority. Our kids' safety is our priority. Also, it says right there, the mission of the San Benito CIC is to provide premium education. I don't hear premium. I hear their basic needs are not being met. I mean, people pass by San Benito High School, pass by the schools. There's schools that are closing. That doesn't look good on us. It makes us look really bad. The old high school is falling apart. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garcia. We appreciate your comments. We next have Mr. Jesus Aguilera. Welcome, Mr. Aguilera.
No te agüites. No te agüites. this. Let me tell you, Cameron County Commissioner Henry Tamay was told by his dad, Mijito, the only thing you need to know entering politics is how to count to 4. Today, ma'am, you did not have the votes. So that's politics. Okay? So no te agüites. It was brought to my attention that my business was mentioned in relations to one of the reasons Jack Garcia was terminated. It's right here, gentlemen. Right here. Why did you go to Chewy's Custom Sports, and why were you talking to Chewy? This question is asked by the superintendent. 3 campaigns with this gentleman here, 3. This was not supposed to happen anymore. These, whatever you call them, public comments, was not to be moved to the back. You went from 5 to 3 minutes. This gentleman is only here for a resume. And he's already started on a good resume, but that's all he's here for. He don't care about our kids. He don't care about our future. You know, a high school teacher informed me that she was told that a high school teacher was told, don't do work with Chewy's Custom Sports. Again, 3 campaigns. 3 campaigns. I worked hard, spent money, time, energy, and we get killed. Look, don't quit. If you think this gentleman is worth him stepping down, then don't quit. All right? All I have to say, and I told him, I can't throw rocks your way because I am guilty as everybody else that has.
Time.
Okay? But I will continue with my opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Aguilera. Our final public comment we have is Mrs. Andrea Gonzalez. Welcome, Ms. Gonzalez.
Hi, I'm Andrea Gonzalez. I'm a mother of 4 in our district, 2 that already are out of school. And to be honest, I am very proud of our board for what you've accomplished so far. I mean, because I remember I went to school in the 80s and we had not even close to what we have now. My kids are actually gonna enjoy, they actually enjoy going to school, so that's a big plus for me. Also, as far as budget, all the numbers are there, so what's not to be proud of? So I wanted to address that, and I also wanted to talk about how our district hasn't been at a place that it is now. It is in an awesome place because San Benito in general has always had a bad reputation in many areas, and the school board was one of them back then. So I just want to say that I'm proud. I'm proud to be in our district. I am met with a couple of parents from Harlingen because I know a lot of people, and some of them are teachers, and some mentioned to me that they're looking into coming and applying over here because of all the stuff that they've heard and all the stuff of that you guys have been putting together. And it's not all bad. I don't know why all we're hearing is bad right now. I don't care about the bad. All I care about is what is happening, what you guys are developing, what you guys are, these people don't understand, like, hello, like, who wouldn't want our kids to have the best? And that's what they're gonna have. I honestly don't care about, maybe we'll have an increase in taxes, but you know what? It's gonna be well worth it for me, because my kids are gonna enjoy it. I actually have 2 grandkids also in our district. So, I mean, you know, I'm tired of hearing, I'm embarrassed actually to hear of all the negativity. Everybody, you know, is talking about all the negative. It's like, we're human. We all make mistakes. We all learn from them, and that's it. You know, you guys come in and you volunteer, right? Your time. Nobody's getting paid. You come and volunteer to make our district greater. So with that, I mean, I'm very proud of each and every one of you, you know, because I wouldn't be able to do it, and I wouldn't have the time with all my kids, but, you know, I'm very proud. I am. So I think parents and our community should start focusing on that instead of petty things. You know.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gonzalez. So we are going to refer to the items from closed session since we did not before public comment. Under employment resignations and retirements, Dr. Carmen?
Yes, sir. Mr. Vargas, I would ask the board to approve all of the resignations, retirements, and employment as discussed in executive session, please.
I have a recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So
moved.
Moved by Mr. Mendez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Weaver. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. On the second item, discussion and consideration on appointment of person to conduct DI investigations. Can I please have a motion to approve Alyssa Romero to be our DI investigator?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Mendez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Weaver. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Can I please have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Moved by Mr. Lopez. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Mendez. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. All those opposed? We dismiss at 7:42 PM. Thank you.